it's kind of a boring game to watch. It was a defensive battle. Points were a premium. And I just feel like the one silver lining is everyone else in the AFC North lost. But I'm sitting here this morning saying the Steelers should be in first place in the division.
Yeah, it's to me, that was a beautiful game. I like them low-scoring games. For the fantasy owners, which is myself, for the new generation, what we like a lot of points. We like the offense, having splash plays. But for me, that game was so beautiful. It was a game of attrition. It was a game of who was going to make a play or the big play. And that's what the New England Patriots wound up doing to get them a W.
Yeah, it really came down to two plays for me. It was everyone's going to point to Gunnar Olszewski's dropped punt. Patriots take advantage, go down and score a touchdown with the improved field position. Just two plays before that, too. Cam Sutton had what looked like a for sure interception, and he dropped it. And Steelers defense got off the field. They forced the punt, but you got to take advantage of the opportunities, especially in a game where points were a premium. Going into the game, Mike, the over-under was 40.5 points. So you knew scoring was going to be hard to come by. And really, when the Patriots got the ball back off the muffed punt, they took advantage.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did. But you got to give, I'm going to give Nelson Aguilar his props, because when you needed a receiver to make a play late in the game, that's exactly what he did over Witherspoon. So that kind of put them over the hump, so say, kind of like lit a flare for the New England Patriots. And on our side, meaning the Pittsburgh Steelers, we didn't have any splash plays. You know what I'm saying? So that's what Coach always talk about. Coach Tomlin always talk about splash plays, but usually when he talks about it, he talks about it on the defensive side. And yes, Cam did drop the interception that would have gave the Cam Sutton, did drop that interception and would have gave the Pittsburgh Steelers another possession, another opportunity. But, New England came in, did what they needed to do. Pittsburgh didn't have enough splash plays, Mark, so say. Najee, we knew we was going to get from Najee as far as like from the receiving core from the Pittsburgh Steelers. They just didn't make enough plays for this game to put the Pittsburgh Steelers in a position to win it.
Coach Tomlin said the same thing in his news conference after the game, Mike, in terms of the splash plays. Separate from this show this season, we will have your Taylor Talk segment. One of the splash plays for the Steelers was that interception by Minkah Fitzpatrick. So go on and check that video out. Again, we're doing that separately from the video because we have the rights to use the NFL Plus footage, but just have to make sure that we're abiding by those restrictions. I want to go back to the Aguilar play, though, because this is a play I broke down on my YouTube channel, like high pointing the football and the importance of high pointing the football. Catch the ball at its highest point. Witherspoon was actually in terrific position. Aguilar just went up and went to go get it. And that was really the key differentiator in that play, and it helped the Patriots get the lead before the end of the first half.
Yeah, we always talk about small receivers. When I mean small, I mean as in height, receivers who play tall. And we usually expect tall receivers to play even taller. And that's exactly what Nelson Aguilar did on that play. He played like a tall receiver. He played 6'4". So when you do that, when you're high pointing the ball, you're able to put not only yourself but your team in a good position. You're able to make splash plays. I played against a few receivers where all they did was high point the ball. So Randy Moss really wasn't a jumper. Randy just run past you and have you redlining your hamstrings, and you thought your hamstrings was going to tear off the bone. But other than that, man, you can name guys like Brandon Marshall at one point in time who was in his prime. He used to high point the ball a lot. Wasn't going to run past you, but you knew if any one of his quarterbacks threw the ball in his area code, he was going to catch it because he was just good at high pointing the ball. Even Antonio Brown, Coach T, I remember Coach T challenged AB Antonio Brown on, okay, we know you're probably one of the best route runners, the best toe tappers when it come down to the sideline, but we need you to play big. And at one point in time, that's what AB started doing. AB started to play like a receiver who was 6'4". He started high pointing the ball. So that means a lot. You can look at the game against the Baltimore Ravens. Waddle, the touchdown from Tua to Waddle. Yep. What did he do? He went up, he high pointed the ball. So it just gives you a high percentage on coming down and making plays that's something the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't do as a whole when it came down to that receiving core. That's something Aguilar did when it came down to making that play.
Like, you're a poet. You are an absolute poet. Redlining the hamstrings that's going to fall off the bone. You're talking about your hamstring as if it's like a chicken wing.
It is, man. That hamstring, like the belt, like that engine belt. You know, that engine belt get rusted. The engine belt gonna pop off. That's exactly what that hamstring is, man. That hamstring, when you get somebody, a Tyreek Hill who's a wilder, when you're trying to chase him, you're actually doing something body isn't used to, and that's going faster than what it usually doesn't do. So, yeah, exactly, man. When I say putting in a hamstring and running that hamstring off the bone, that's exactly what happens.
When people ask me, this is why this is one of my favorite things to do each week, because you make me think about things a little bit differently. Let me bring this back to the Steelers-Patriots game from Sunday. A few other observations I had. It's clear the offense needs to improve. I thought the defense played well enough to win, because in most games, if you only allow 17 points, you should go on and win the football game. So offense has got to get better. I thought Najee Harris looked healthy. And if you need evidence of that, I know he keeps saying I'm good. He's probably not 100%, but the play where he caught the ball to the backfield, threw a Patriots defender to the ground, a mean stiff arm, and then he leaped over another defender. So it's like, I think Najee's good. I think he's good to go if he's capable of doing that. And then really the last thing that I noticed from this game was the pass rush wasn't quite there. You knew it wasn't going to be quite as strong without TJ Watt, but 0 sacks on Mac Jones. And again, 17 points overall. I think the defense did a nice job, but there were times where it's like, Jones has got too much time to throw. He's got too much time to throw. He's got too much time to throw. Steelers now 0-5 without Watt when Watt is not healthy, but that's what I noticed from Sunday.
Yeah, it's just tough to replace TJ Watt, you know, league's defensive MVP, was on the verge last year of breaking the sack record. It's just hard to replace that. I mean, in one game, he gets a sack, a interception, and a few quarterback hurries when they play and when they beat the Cincinnati Bengals. So it's just tough to replace a guy like that, Mark. So you try to do it as a whole and collectively, and they did. You just said it best. When you hold a team, an NFL team, to 17 points, you're thinking you're walking out that stadium with the win. But Pittsburgh didn't.